Hey everyone, day 2 Dryden, recording here again for Nikichu MTG. We're playing Burn and Modern, and if that's what you're interested in, learning how to count from 20 to 0 with your opponent's life total, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like, share, comment, all that fun stuff. So, quickly before we get to the deck tech, big shout out to Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals. Big fan. I've been a big Ovechkin fan for a long time, so that was great to see last week. Yeah, really awesome. It's been a while since I've been super interested in the finals of the Stanley Cup. Not since the Devils made it there about 5 years ago, so pretty excited about that. So here's the list we're doing today. Sticking with our 19 land build. It's just seemed more. Since I switched to 19 lands for the longest time, I thought it was maybe too risky. Like, oh, you're gonna get flooded or you're gonna get mana screwed too often. And I honestly haven't noticed a substantial difference, except it seems like I flood out a little bit less. So, I mean, maybe it's confirmation bias, maybe it's just how it is, but either way, this seems to be working. Aside from that, our one sort of flex slot is the Grim Lavamancer here. We could go with one other one, but I don't think that's necessary at the moment. One other quick thing I want to mention is I've seen a lot of people talking about Skullcrack online and how it's not necessary. Sorry, I'm still a little bit under the weather from this last week. I'll try not to cough on the microphone. I've seen a lot of people talking about Skullcrack and how they don't think it's necessary in the 75 or in the main deck, and I think this is completely wrong. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I think it should just be relatively straightforward. But basically what Skullcrack does is it allows... people will have to play around it. If all of a sudden the burn list stop playing Skullcrack in the 60 or the 75, people are going to start respecting it less. Yeah, you know what? Maybe most of the time it's not, taking care of too much main deck life gain, but sometimes it is. And even if it's not, it's still 3 damage. Yeah, 3 damage for 2 mana at instant speed. It's one of the only cards in the deck that uses a colorless mana. So if you get Spreading Seized or something like that, this is still one of the only ways to actually not make it just strip mine effect. So I think this is a very important card. I think of it like vaccines, which I'm not going to get too political on, but if everyone's playing Skullcrack and you're attacking into something with pro-red with mana up, they probably need to respect the fact that you might have it. If no one's playing Skullcrack all of a sudden, if people start cheating on this card, guess what? You're going to start getting a lot more people who are going to, you know what? I bet this guy doesn't have it. I bet you they're just bluffing. Block. Ugh. Great. Now your Goblin Guide got eaten for free instead of getting like that slim 2 damage in that you probably weren't getting in for the rest of the game anyway. So I'm not going to say too much more about that, but I definitely think Skullcracks need to be in the 75, if not in the main deck. I think they have a good spot. I think it rounds out the deck. It still keeps the main core focus of the deck doing what it needs to do. So I'm not going to go into too much more about that, but it's been surprising to me that I've seen that come up online. Over to the sideboard. I didn't like the Ensnaring Bridges last time. I played a competitive league the other day. I literally didn't use Core Firewalker or the Ensnaring Bridges once. Went 4-1. Before I start making it sound like I just played a league, it was great, whatever. No, it went 4-1 and I just never really needed them. I could have used all these other cards a lot more. The one deck though that we seem to be losing to consistently, usually it's 3 games, but we're still losing all the rounds, is Humans. So I wanted a card I could bring in against Humans. I thought a lot about it. I thought for a while about bringing in something like Wrath of God. Unfortunately, with only 20 lands, or in this case 19 lands, I didn't really see Wrath of God being excuse me, being a legitimate option. So went away from that. I thought about just putting back in Searing Bloods, which are another great option in addition to the Searing Blazes that are in the main deck. And I don't know if this is necessarily the right choice, but eventually settled on Ratchet Bomb. Now, Ratchet Bomb is a little bit tough in the sense that it takes time. You can't just slam it and get rid of it right away like maybe you could with like Engineered Explosives or something. But one of the things this does is it's 2 mana, it's colorless mana, so if you have a Spreading Seas or there's a Blood Moon or something like that, it doesn't matter. You can still cast this card. Problematic enchantments, maybe you're against Solemnity, Phyrexian Unlife combo. You can still just keep counting this thing up, counting it up, get rid of their enchantments. It takes care of a lot of problem things that you might have to deal with. So tokens, you could hypothetically just slam it and crack it right away. So this is sort of a niche card that I'm not sure if it's necessary. I'm not sure how good it is just yet, but it seems like a really good catch-all answer to a lot of things. You know, you can slam it down, and it will take one extra turn, but you can kill all the champion of the parish. No, what is it? The human champion. Why can't I think of the name right now? Whatever. The human champion. Get rid of all of them and their noble hierarchs in one blow. Maybe it's against merfolk. Just keep it on 2. Get rid of the spreading seas and the silver gills. All that stuff all at once. So I don't know how useful it's going to be yet, but it's one I want to experiment with a little bit, and it seems like it fits in the meta pretty well as a sort of a Swiss Army knife in terms of an answer. Outside of that, the usual stuff. We went with one more Path to Exile, a card I'm always happy to have. 2 Rest in Peace for the Graveyard Hate. One more piece of Graveyard Hate in the Relic. The nice thing about the Relic, as I've mentioned before, is of course you can cycle it if you've already got your Rest in Peace in play or something like that. The Core Firewalkers, I'm still not positive about yet, but they showed enough usefulness in the last little while that I'm willing to keep trying them for a little bit longer. Again, one of the other decks we're running into all the time is Burn, or some version of a heavily red deck. This can be good against that, so we'll try that. We went down to 3 Destructive Revelries. I haven't seen a Leyline of Sanctity in a very long time. I'm not sure what decks are actually running it. Generally, that's sort of just very niche Burn sideboard hate, which I don't think as many people are running nowadays because there's so many other boogeymen in the format with Hollow One and Humans and things like that. So I think 3 Revelries is still fine. I definitely don't want to cut down to any less than 3, but I'm willing to go down to 3. And then we've got Molten Rains for Tron, which is a good matchup. It's still a helpful card. It's good against... it can even be good against humans. It's good against control, things like that. Jeskai Control is on the rise right now. So that's sort of the reason we've got these cards. And aside from the Ratchet Bomb, I'm pretty happy about this. I'm just not sure quite how happy about Ratchet Bomb I am yet. So outside of that, same sort of deck we're running all the time. And... yeah, I will see you in round 1. Alright, so here we go in this first game, first match of our competitive league. This hand is terrible. We're on the draw, so that's not even that great. We have 4 lands, 3 spells. That's not great. We want to mulligan that. This hand is much better. 2 lands, good turn 1 play into very good turn 2 play. I'm not super thrilled about having the Stomping Ground, but I mean, whatever. Our opponent mulliganed as well, so we're going to keep this hand. See what we're going to leave on top. And we don't have just fetch lands. Oh, and we're on the draw. So we actually get to pick if we want to keep this card or not. Even after I talked in the deck tech about how important this card can be, with 3 2-drops and only 1 1-mana spell, I think I really want to try to maximize the number of 1-mana spells I can try to get on the board with early. Wait, what? Our opponent chose the draw. Oh. Okay. So, wow, alright. Sorry, I didn't notice. Are we against... maybe we're against... what's the word? 8-rack? Or some sort of like a discard deck? Trying to hurt us that way? Well, if we are, I think this is a pretty good matchup. So... I'm not too upset about that. If they are, they're probably going to take this Eidolon right now, though. Yeah, going to take 2 damage and take our Eidolon away. That's too bad. But yeah, okay. So basically, I think we're pretty favored in game 1. They are going to want to just empty our hand. Excuse me. And... drop things like the rack. Oh, they took Boros Charm. Alright, well, it probably means they have removal in hand, but whatever. That's a bad card in this matchup. But we're going to get on the board anyway. We're going to drop our Idol, and they probably have removal for it, but there's nothing we can do about it. You know, we could possibly play this tapped and then play like a Goblin Guide or something like that. But it's more likely, I think, if this is the deck I'm thinking of, they'll have discard effects rather than removal. Although they will likely have a combination of both. So probably just going to get Fatal pushed here, yeah. Okay, well, take 2. Get some value out of this at least. So it's basically like it was a Goblin Guide in that way, except it cost 2 mana. But we didn't have anything that could have cost 1, so it's basically the same thing. But yeah, basically we just target player discards a card. Yeah, we are absolutely getting rid of the Searing Blaze because that is a lemon right now. So I'm actually kind of glad we drew that. Oh, that's tough. We want a repeatable source of damage. I would really like to cast this Lightning Helix. Basically I want to be greedy. I want to be able to do both things that are in my hand, and I can't. So I'm trying to figure out if 1 damage right now with the Swift Spear is better than 3 damage right now with the Helix. Well, the Swift Spear has to live for 3 turns. Two of their turns or whatever, to be the same amount of damage. I'm going to hold up the Helix. They're at 12, and if we keep drawing well, or if they don't, I mean, I don't know what they could have. Maybe they take this turn to drop Rack or Shrieking Affliction. Maybe this is the turn they do that. So we actually get to get the Swift Spear out of our hand as well. Oh, this is good too, actually. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we get to cast this Helix, which means they're going to whiff on one of the modes of their brutality. They're still going to gain 2 life, which is frustrating, but it also means we're going to get to probably just drop this Swift Spear next turn, hopefully for... okay. Well, let's start with this. There's nothing in our main deck with this many cards in hand that makes me think we really need this 3rd land. Rift Bolt is the only one, and we can even still suspend that. So I'm going to hold this in our hand because, again, every card in our hand helps for when they drop the Rack and things like that. So we're winning this race, but at the same time, it's something I still want to think about. Target player discards a card. Yeah, sure. It's a sorcery, right? Yeah, okay. Because they can keep doing that over and over and over. That's a really bad card. However, what we're going to do right now... this is kind of funny. I haven't done this before. So we are going to Searing Blaze without landfall, our Swift Spear, and ourselves to deal 1 more damage to them. Swift Spear is going to live through this, but be able to attack for 2. I mean, if they Fatal Push it, whatever, it might have been better to hold it in our hand as a bluff, but I feel like that is the correct play. Well, there we go. We got an extra point of damage in off of what is basically a dead card. Oh, I forgot about Smallpox. Okay. That was a reason to play the Sacred Foundry earlier. I forgot about that. Okay. Lesson learned there. Well, we're getting lucky with our top decks. I won't lie. There's a few turns here where we could have really just ended up getting really, really unlucky with our draws. Wow. Okay, well, you're on a 3-turn clock at this point. If I draw a Bolt next turn, I think you're just dead. Yeah, you are. So it looks like they might have smallpoxed themselves into some trouble. Maybe they need 2 mana. Wow, okay, sweet. There we go. Well, we got lucky there. So, I haven't played this. Rodney Top 8 Thompson likes this deck a little bit, so that's kind of funny. We definitely got a little bit of practice in because of that. We definitely don't want the Searing Blazes. I don't really want the Molten Rains. 3 mana, sorcery speed. Isn't necessarily where I want to be. We saw in that game how they smallpoxed themselves, and it actually ended up, looks like it helped us a lot, but once we get up to that amount, I'm not really thrilled with that. I don't think they have too much graveyard interaction. They've got that retrace card, Raven's Crime, but I don't think there's too many other things that affect the graveyard, even though they're filling it quite a bit. So, I mean, if we had something like Leyline of Sanctity in this matchup, that would be amazing, but... So, I am willing to bring in the Ratchet Bombs, as funny as that is, though, because it can get rid of the Rack and Shrieking Affliction, and it's colorless. Actually, I'll show you that doesn't really matter. We need 2 more cards. I don't even know what I want in this matchup. I'm hesitant to bring in Destructive Revelry, even though I just spoke about the Rack and Shrieking Affliction. Something that costs red-green and against a Smallpox deck isn't really something I'm super thrilled about. I want to try to limit the number of multicolored cards I have as much as I can. Sorry guys, again. Just sort of coming off a bit of a cold or something this week, so trying not to cough into the mic. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think we were not really set up great for this. I think we're just generally a pretty good deck as it is against this. So I will bring in, I don't know, because they mostly run basics. Okay, I'll bring in a couple of Destructive Revelries, but that's mostly just because there aren't a lot of other great options. That's kind of what I'm going to do. So yeah, cool. All right, and we can expect to be on the play again, which is kind of nice. They might change that now that they know we're an aggro burn deck, but they chose, no, we are playing first, and this hand is great. We got 2 lands. We got a Swift Spear into an Eidolon, so keep. We have these 3 mana spells, but hey, guess what? We can only pay, we can cast them for 1. I guess Ratchet Bomb is sort of like a suspended wrath of some sort. It's almost what it is. So they mulligan to 6. They can't really get mana screwed. They're mono black. I wonder if they're trying to mulligan for maybe a Collective Brutality or something like that. I believe this matchup is in our favor. So yeah, start with basic. Swiss Spear. Hiya! But yeah, basically we're just racing. They're trying to empty our hand and get some sort of interaction on us, and we are just trying to count to 20 as fast as we can. So 19. Inquisition. I assume they're taking the Eidolon, but I could be wrong. Yeah. I thought that last game too, but that was due to... Oh, that's a good draw. So yeah. Ooh. Oh, I was like, wait, what's happening? They have an Urborg in play. I can tap for... Does that help me out at all? I guess hypothetically, if I did play Engineered Explosives instead of... Ratchet Bomb. Oh, this is annoying. I guess hypothetically that would make a difference there. But, yeah, just swing in. Okay. So they know about the Rift Bolts, but that's it. We have 3, 6, 9. Yeah. Damage in our hand. That's fine. Probably a Collective Brutality. Nope, just discard. I guess I would rather get rid of a Rift Bolt. I actually don't know. Helix is probably a better... Yeah, I'll get rid of the Rift Bolt. They know about it. Because we can actually cast... We can get both these out of our hand next turn. They can't smallpox us this turn. If they could smallpox this turn still, then I might get rid of the lightning helix, just because that way I wouldn't have to worry about holding up white. Yeah, okay, I'll just get rid of a rift bolt. And if we draw a land, we can just get everything out of our hand next turn. That'll be nice. So they still don't know about the helix. It's pretty funny. Again, because of the... it's worth more damage. Right now, I'm debating between getting more damage out of my hand, which is important with these Rift Bolts, versus maybe not being able to cast this Lightning Helix, which is also legitimate. But, you know, we'll attack. And... yeah. I think we're just going to suspend these two Rift Bolts. Yeah. Again, this might be difficult, but again, getting as much damage out of our hand and into their face as possible is really the most important thing. You know, like I said, we're just trying to count to 20, and even though it doesn't use our mana quite as well, 6 is more than 3. You don't need to be a math whiz to figure that out. Sure, Fatal Push. Kind of thinking that might be coming, but I thought they would have done it during combat, but either way, yeah. Let me discard this. So there we go. There's the Shrieking Affliction. We are going to take 3 damage from this right now, which is unfortunate, but we're also going to put them to 7, so it's too bad we don't have that Swift Spear still. Could attack for 3 this turn. That would make this a lot easier. Mountain. We're pretty ahead in the damage race. Smallpox, as well as those... Hold on. Did I bring the Molten Rains in? I did not bring the Molten Rains in. Sorry. But because of Smallpox, for that reason, I will play this 3rd land out. If I draw another land, though, I am absolutely going to keep it in my hand. Yeah, because we're going to take at least 6 damage off of this Shrieking Affliction over the next 2 turns. So we want them to not draw any life gain, like Collective Brutality. And, oh, that's a pretty good one. I'm willing to play that out, yep. I am willing to put this down. They probably have an answer to it, but... like I said, we're just trying to race. And, Liliana, okay. Well, we've got top decks. We can easily just top deck 2 bolts in a row. That's not a good one though. And Liliana's just going to make us discard it. Yeah, the Liliana's going to make us discard this anyway. Can't go down, she has to go up. Well, since there's no way this Inspiring Vantage stays in our hand, I might as well play it out. But if it weren't for that Liliana, if they had just like Fatal Pushed the Eidolon, I would have held that in my hand. Yeah, we're in a bit of a tough spot here. This isn't great. I probably want to draw not that. All right. Yeah, I think we're toast now. I don't think there's any way we can win this game actually anymore. We drew really well at first, but we didn't hit our third land on turn 3 to be able to get that extra 3 damage out of our hand, and then we kind of flooded out the last couple turns here, unfortunately. So, although I'm seeing a lot of non-basic lands in this deck all of a sudden. So maybe bringing those Molten Rains in isn't actually the worst idea. Would have saved us about 4 life from this Mutavault. I don't think there's anything we can do here because we can't deal 5. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe they'll show us one more card. Wow, yeah, 3 or 4 lands to end the game with? It's kind of frustrating. Sure. Verdant Catacombs. Oh, they got fetches. Maybe they're splashing for... I don't know. Yep. Okay. GG's. But any Ratchet Bomb in there would have been really good. Would have been able to... I mean, that Shrieking Affliction probably did close to 13. No, it'd have to be 3. 12 or 15 damage to us. I think this is still okay. I mean, yeah, we saw some non-basics in there, but... Oh, or Destructive Revelry actually would have been good too, yeah. Yeah, we saw some non-basics in there, but still, just 3 mana, sorcery speed, when they're going to rip our hand apart and possibly smallpox us and stuff. I don't love that. I think we still just run it back the way it is. Yes, we want to play first. Ooh. Yeah, this is a keep. We are keeping this. I could have chosen the draw, I guess, but so many haste creatures and things. I think even though they want us to be on the play, I think we also want to be on the play. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Maybe if someone's got more experience in this matchup than I do, they can comment on it. But I think it is mutually beneficial. Yeah, I might as well just get this out now. Do we need... We probably just need to take damage, unfortunately. If I didn't have the Destructive Revelries in the deck, I could see just fetching out a basic when I have no other colored, no colored cards in my hand. So no multicolored cards in my hand. But I'll get rid of this Skullcrack, obviously. Land. But see, so now we need a land still to be able to cast, a fetch land to be able to cast this. So for that reason, I think we needed to fetch out a Sacred Foundry. I'll get rid of this. I still want to keep this. I think this is how we like keep them from being able to win the game. Actually, or we could get rid of this Revelry. That's a better idea. Let's get rid of this Revelry. We might not even be able to cast this anytime soon. Yeah, and follow it up with that, so now we get rid of this. Bolt them at end of turn, but this is not going well right now. They're getting value. We need to be able to empty our... Oh, that's not good. It's not good. On the bright side, they need multiple discard effects to get these both out of our hand. But that was... Oh, man. Although it looks like they're going to have it. Wow, this would be a really, really disappointing way to lose this game. Oh, man. They're at 14 life. If we bolt them, they're down to 11. Which means we still need to top deck probably a land and 4 or so more spells. So for that reason, because we're a million cards, we are like 5, best case scenario, we are probably like 5 turns away from being able to kill them. So for that reason, I feel like we're not going to be able to race. And so for that reason, I'm going to discard this lightning bolt. But you know what? That might be wrong. But I feel like I am in a real... I feel like this is a very not ideal situation. So... Oh, and they're just going to make us discard the last one anyway? Okay. That's one of the reasons we kept this card in our hand. So we take... Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, okay, well... Come on, don't make me discard. Make me look smart. Smart-ish. So if I had cast that, they'd be at 5 right now. Although we'd also be at 9. Because we're taking 4 a turn off this thing. Yeah, this is pretty... Yep. This went poorly. Gone through a lot of our deck. We've only found 1 land. Normally that means things are going well. We're gonna go to 1. Yeah, we can't. Now we can't win. However, I don't know. Does EE cost? Oh no, because you have to pay for EE to be able to crack it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Unfortunately, too bad. But that's how this deck wins. Just what? You'd like to cast spells? We don't want you to cast spells. So it's too bad. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it was greedy to keep the 1 lander, but with bolt, what was it? Lava Spike? Yeah, Lava Spike, 2 bolts. Thought maybe we could have drawn a 2nd land and been able to get ahead there. Came close. So, anyway, this has been Andrew, Day 2 Dryden, trying to show you how to count from 20 to 0, and unfortunately we got counted to 0. We only got as far as 10 in this game. So, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, and I will see you next time.